Good evening. Parents of school children seem to be tripping over themselves to get on the new boards of trustees for Otago and Southland schools. Nominations closed at noon, and our survey of schools in the region indicates a very strong interest in the new form of administration. Mark Price reports.
We spoke to dozens of returning officers today who have been keeping track of nominations, and it seems most will now have to arrange elections on the 29th of this month. School boards need between 3 and 5 parents. Most received more than 5 nominations. The only school we found with fewer than 5 was Mosgiel Intermediate, although a spokesman for the school says there were some unusual circumstances and the numbers don't imply that parents there are apathetic. The most nominations we heard about was at George Street Normal, which received 28. George Street is in the heart of Dunedin's education belt, and many parents here are in the education profession.
I'd like to think that the advertising and promotion program that's been conducted, both by the school and beyond, is sufficient to have people going into this with their eyes open.
There were 9 nominations for the board at Drummond Primary School in Southland, which was recently embroiled in controversy over the forced resignation of its former principal. Some schools considered they would have had more nominations but for citizenship restrictions on who could stand. Those who are elected at the end of the month will take their place on the board in May, although they won't take control of their schools until October.
In Oamaru, a drug detection dog has been used this week to sniff out small amounts of hidden cannabis at Waitaki Boys High School. The search came after police, acting on complaints from parents, found 2 16-year-olds had cannabis. After the dog search, another 2 senior pupils were interviewed by police. Some charges have been laid. The school director has declined to comment on whether action's being taken against the boys, but police say the school doesn't have a major drug problem and the situation's no worse than at any other New Zealand high school. In Dunedin, an old boy of Otago boys dropped in for a look around his old school this morning. Greg Tyrrell is now an Air Force pilot involved in the training camp at Mamona, and he found the school's Littlebourne sports ground made an ideal landing site. Then there was a chance to tell today's pupils about life in the Air Force. The new profile of Invercargill's historic water tower was completed today with the placement of the spiked piece right at the top. The century-old tower is now back to the shape it had until the 1930s when it was modified. The total restoration is costing around $200,000, but that doesn't include sponsored support from Comelco. In central Otago, a pilot died late this afternoon when his top-dressing plane crashed on a property 13 kilometres east of Alexandra. The pilot, whose name hasn't been released, was the only occupant. The Tourist Hotel Corporation today announced it's bought land next to its new Queenstown Hotel for further development. But because of some uncertainty about its future, financial details are being withheld. Sally Pears reports.
The corporations wanted to buy the land for 4 years, and now it says the hotel will go ahead. The land was bought for an undisclosed price, way below government valuation. The corporation says it knows what it wants to put on the site, but it's yet to work out where the money will come from. The plan includes 50 undercover car parks, 18 new suites, and a conference centre that will hold up to 400 people. The company won't give any more details, while it may still be the subject of state asset sales. Chief Executive Mike Hoy says the other ventures in Queenstown are trading well, and there's definitely room for further development.
Rural post offices are fast becoming a thing of the past in the south. The closing of the Ranfurly post office has just been announced, hard on the heels of 3 others in the Southland towns of Riverton, Otago and Lumsden. And in Lumsden, Michael Lynch discovered they're not taking it lying down.
Lumsden may sometimes rate as chilly on the television temperatures, but it's a town where the locals are getting hot under the collar. They say the temperatures are unfair enough, but they're hopping mad about their post office going.
Just where are they going to stop? And if we lie down here at Lumsden and say, righto, we let them take this without a fight, they then proceed on to take Gore and Winton and, we're next.
And not only are there 400 signatures on a petition, but Lumsden's planning to put its money where its mouth is and take out a court injunction to stop the post office closing.
I think we're just getting shoved around. We're told what's going to happen and that's it.
Are they going to kick up down here about this one?
I reckon.
Tom Headley says transport firms alone put at least $200,000 through the local post office. He'd like to see the facts to support the closing.
They just come and close them. Don't really tell us why, or if they could show us that it was running at a loss, then we'd probably have to accept that, but, we see nothing of that.
The latest batch of closures will mean no post offices in northern or western Southland. New Zealand Post declined to talk about what might happen from here. But at Lumsden, there's one less chance of a job and another cut into an already bleeding community.
Well, there's certainly no job opportunities, and we're finding an enormous amount of the young people, young, active, good working people are leaving and going to Australia.
Do they come back?
Well, they haven't as yet. There's certainly nothing to bring them back.
But at least in Lumsden, they're trying to stop the rot.
People have woken up and they're being counted, and we're not prepared to take any more.
Marine researcher and writer Wade Doak is in Dunedin at the moment, working with Television New Zealand's Natural History Unit on a documentary which breaks new ground in underwater filming. Wade has dived all over the world and written many books on marine research, but there were still some surprises in store for him, as Lee Davies reports.
The deep waters of Milford Sound have many secrets which until now no one has been able to share. But now the television crew can send its remotely operated mobile camera to the depths of the fjord to record moving pictures deeper than the human eye has ever seen. The vehicle is operated from a control panel above the water, and the crew watches the camera's discoveries on television monitors. Wade's role here is to record information about the underwater terrain and its life forms. That forms the basis of the script he's writing for the documentary.
And then it drops off steep. Look at that, it goes straight down.
2, 3.
That's a great... Oh, look, there's a fish.
Oh, good.
Spotty's coming into view. Nice. Now we're going down at that 45-degree angle, down a vertical cliff.
See if you can tilt it down a tad more.
At 6 metres now.
Slowly.
Well, we expected there would be virtually nothing down there. That was expected the bottom would be lifeless. And we got a big shock when we saw just how much life there was down there.
But you went past it.
Now we've gone down to about 80 feet where black coral trees grow just like kelp plants. Nowhere else in the world do you see such huge numbers of these black coral trees as in our fjords.
The camera has dived 264 metres and found that a variety of crabs and shellfish survive on the seabed.
And all adjust.
Oh, Benny.
And almost hidden among the brachiopods on the bottom is something which causes even greater surprise.
Ah, look, there's a plastic wine glass.
Plastic wine glass. Look,
for God's sake.
A blooming plastic wine glass.
How do you know it's plastic?
The film, called Mirror Image, is expected to be finished about October. But before that, there'll be another dive in Milford Sound in June. At that stage, a longer cable for the remote camera may mean further secrets will be revealed.
Exciting stuff from the deep. Finally tonight, it's congratulations to 8-year-old Candice Barclay of Newfield School in Invercargill. Her artwork has won top prize in a nationwide poster competition that attracted 26,000 entries. Well done, Candice. Good night.